This is the future. Evolution.
The Crossing Realms Conference launches September 19th and 20th and will dock in Richmond, Missouri. This is already being called the event of the year, folks. With an unprecedented list of speakers and special guests, 2 days of cryptids, UFOs, and paranormal presentations, along with a celebrity-filled ghost hunt, meet and greet, gallery reading, vendors, and a film screening. This promises to be both educational and fun. Go to Eventbrite.com to secure your tickets and vendor slots before they are all abducted. They're going fast.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to Brunch with bigfootmichiganrob. Of course, I am your host, BMR. We've got a cool show set up for everybody for coming in. Thank you once again to everybody for coming on in at 1 o'clock in the East here in the state of Michigan, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, you all know I always have Tex as my co-host, and he did a little investigation a week or so ago. We're going to talk about that a little bit, Dogman Ranch. So, yeah, it's pretty fascinating, and Tex has gone over it over on the Texas Front Porch a little bit. So go subscribe to Texas Front Porch on YouTube, if you will, if you're the first time here. Also, if this is your first time, please subscribe to Bigfoot Michiganrob on YouTube, the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast on YouTube, Donnie Cho Says Stuff on YouTube, Paranormal Paul, and of course Monica Rollins, all found on YouTube, and of course the Diva Dimension at Daniel Diva on YouTube. Go check out Miss Diva; she's fantastic. And thanks if you're new here. Again, hit that thumbs up, share us out, and hope you enjoy the show. Where you can find us wherever podcasts are found on Apple, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. Go check that out for your listening pleasure for all of us across the board. Brent Thomas is also sitting in today. He comes in a couple times a month. Go check out Brent Thomas, the Paranormal Portal on YouTube, and also the Paranormal Podcast as a podcast, wherever podcasts are found. Also, briefly, I want to thank everybody who's bought my books that are out there on Amazon. Bigfoot Michiganrob presents True Cryptid Encounters, Book 1 and Book 2. Thank you for everybody that's bought them. Please, when Amazon does come calling, please leave a review. It does help promote sales of the books. Everything is analytics, much like YouTube. Commenting, thumbs up, leaving reviews. It does help promote sales. Simply type Bigfoot Michiganrob in your Amazon browser. And of course, that is in all the links. One last bit of business. As you all know, we've been promoting the heck out of the Crossing Realms Conference taking place September 19th and 20th in Richmond, Missouri. We've got a fantastic lineup. Featured the speakers Josh Hurd, Heather Mosier of Small Town Monsters, William Lunsford, Lady Ann Celine, Ron Murphy, Dr. Dean Bertram, Frankie and Danny from the Haunted Garage. They're bringing a haunted car along with them. Sir Brian Bowden, Miguel Ramirez from Sasquatch Theory, and Martin Groves. Y'all know Martin. Check him out. Special guest Ken Gerhard, Dana Stricker, Brent Thomas in the house, Ryan Edwards, Mike Familian, Christopher Garantano, Linda Eastburn. I can't read this. David Glidden, Danielle Stedman, Donnie Cho Says Stuff. And there's another one here just got added. I can't read that. Blake Boswell, Dale Boswell. Okay, very good. And of course, it's hosted by all of us across our illustrious channels. So enough of that. Thank you for that. The ghost hunt's already sold out. I'm going to bring up my co-host for today's awesome show. Hit that like button. The super chat's open. Great way to promote the show or help support the show, I should say. Not expected, always appreciated. And you too can become a BMR pirate. Join today, mateys. Join the many. Join the few, depending on your point of view. Thank you to everybody. And here is I'm bringing up my partner down south. What's up, Texas?
So,
Not a whole hell of a lot. We're talking about the weather briefly, like we always do. The differences between Texas and Michigan, and you got a heat wave coming next week.
yeah, we're looking at being 82 tomorrow.
Ouch. Yeah. You know, we're suffering in the 30s, and it's going to be 68 all next week. And yeah, that's how Michigan rolls, you know. But can't wait. I can feel the spring air starting to roll already in the state of Michigan. And of course, a dude that lives up in Idaho. I got to bring up Brent. Mr. Thomas, welcome back to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here, Rob. Thanks for having me back. I'm always happy to occupy the third position here. Good place
Well,
to be.
Thank you
Brent,
so much.
the third wheel.
Yeah, you know.
That's going to be the title of my autobiography.
Oh, the third wheel.
There you go.
It is the Third Wheel Show, brought to you by Brent Thomas, formerly of the Paranormal Portal. Hopefully not for a while, Brent. You'll be running your show for a long time. Fantastic show. Go check out Brent on YouTube and on podcast formats. So yeah,
Brent, how long have you been doing? How long have you had the show now?
I started the Paranormal Portal in, I think it was April of 2016. So
Good gosh.
yeah, 8 years, I guess.
well, you're the senior member of the podcasting world compared to me and Tex.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm still grinding away. I love doing it as much today as I did the you know, when I first started. So it's definitely a labor of love, and you know that old saying, you find something you love doing, you'll never work a day in your life, and that's where I'm at.
I agree with you. I love doing this. Tex loves doing it. And as long as I love doing it, I'll continue to do it. And
Yeah.
and
I
of
always
course,
said if it quits being fun, I'm out.
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
when it becomes a chore, like most of us, and some of us are fortunate to have really cool careers and jobs where you love going to work.
Mhm.
But when that gets stale, it's time to move to a different job or just retire once you get up to that age, right? There are people that they love their job so much they're working into their 70s, you know, provided God willing that they can still, you know, function. So
Yeah. Yep. I saw a video the other day of there was a guy he was doing this challenge thing where it's like, oh, you know, I just need these 2 screws. He was at a hardware store like a Home Depot or Lowe's or something. And this older fellow was helping him. And the guy looked like he was about 75, 80ish. But he did this thing where, oh, I don't have any money. Do you think you can help me and just get these screws? Because I got to, you know, go back home and do it. So the old guy that was helping him was like, oh, you know, I'll just put it on my account. It's fine. We'll take care of you. And they got to talking, and basically the young guy ended up giving the older fellow a bunch of money, but they asked the guy how old he was. And I think he was like 100 or 99 or 100. And it's like, wow. And just the nicest guy. And it was so bizarre. I mean, it blew me away because you think, God, do some people have to work till they're 100? I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but I thought,
Well,
you know,
I think he was probably doing it just to give him something to do.
yeah, probably. That's a good point. Yeah.
You know?
well, I do think it's cool that, you know, a lot of these folks that have retired, and you find a lot of them, a lot of the men, some women, you'll find them working at hardware stores part-time or a
Mhm.
checkout clerk at maybe your local grocery store, which is cool because
Oh.
I don't know. See, my dad retired pretty young. My dad was 53 when he retired.
Oh, wow. That's
Now, my dad's a unique individual, though, because he had so many things he did upon retirement that he always wanted to do. So good for him. But
Yeah.
I find a lot of these men and women that work until they're 62, 65, they've been doing it for 40 years. And then after a month of retirement, they get fidgety. They just can't sit around the house and they end up picking up these part time jobs. It's
Yeah.
almost like just keep your old job. But I get it. A lot of hours. Part time is probably more conducive to when we all get up there in age, right? So
Yeah, I think so.
So, Brent, you were out for a little bit. We're going to talk about. I titled the show. We're going to talk a little bit about Tex's experience with his little camping trip here in a minute. But Brent, when you were away, I remember you were on a little vacation. Were you going out? I don't know if you were out researching or ghost hunting, or did you just take a little hiatus as a personal vacation?
I was visiting family in Tennessee, and that was wonderful. But I did just a little bit of investigating, but it was kind of an impromptu thing.
Okay.
And we stopped by this old cemetery, and I mean the graves were like 1700s, 1800s. So it was all these old graves. But my cousin who was with me, he said, "Hey, do one of your apps, do one of the ghost apps." And I got some on my phone. And here's the thing. I don't know that you can always subscribe to them being very accurate. I've heard them spit out a ton of nonsense, but I'm here to tell you it spit out some pretty relevant stuff. We stopped at the grave of the guy who founded the town that we were in. I can't remember the name of the town, but it's somewhere around Elizabethton. Maybe it was Elizabethton in Tennessee. And the guy was the founder. He's the guy that kind of created the town and stuff. So I stopped by his grave, and I turned on this app that I have on my phone called Ghost Talker. And it might be something that some of you are familiar with if you ever check out the YouTube version of investigation shows, because a lot of people use it. So I just whipped it out and I was like, hello, sir, whatever the guy's name was, I don't remember. I said, are you here keeping an eye on this town that you founded? And the first response I got was heaven. And I was like, wow. So that was relevant. And then I was like, well, are you pleased with what's become of your town? Are you pleased with how it's developed and how it's grown? And he said, it said, we are concerned, was the next thing it spit out. And I was like, oh my God, that's pretty crazy. And I was like, well, thank you for talking to me. And, I wish you all the best. And I send you with love and prayers. And then we were walking around and suddenly this other one comes up, says, I miss my life. It's like, oh my God. Wow. So it was really spitting out some really cool things. But it was only like a 10-minute visit to this place. And in that short time, I got several responses like that were very relevant. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Isn't that how it always goes, though? You're not really expecting to do anything. You're not expecting to do an investigation, or then you did an impromptu thing. And now, had you planned to do that, Brent, maybe you would not have gotten the response,
Yeah, and the other part of it is a lot of people think, well, you got to wait till nighttime because that's when the spirits are most active. And honestly, you can investigate any time of the day. You might be more prone to catching visual anomalies at night just because, I think that they don't generate an amount of energy that can really compete with sunlight in a lot of cases. But so there might be more visual anomalies in the evening and night, and it's quieter, of course. So maybe it makes it a little easier to focus and to dial it in. But you can investigate any time of the day. It doesn't matter. I mean, there's no schedule for this stuff.
There's no schedule. And I think that everyone just has that connotation about hunting for ghosts or paranormal is done at night because it's nighttime is spookier. But I think you're right. All these anomalies, these ghosts, you can find them 24/7. Doesn't really matter.
Right.
The nighttime just provides that ambiance of being extra spooky, I think.
Yeah. And it is quieter. So I think, you're probably more prone to hear maybe some knocking or things happening around you that you may never hear in the daytime just because of the increased activity.
I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that just nighttime is quieter as far as noise pollution goes, that it's easier to pick up.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question. I mean, the world's pretty much asleep when you're out there, at 2 and 3 a.m. Everyone's, it's a ghost town in a lot of places. So it does help because when you're doing like EVPs and stuff, having active traffic going by is a nightmare. I mean, you're never going to really be able to be able to really authenticate an EVP when you've got all kinds of ambient atmospheric noise going on. You know, it could be any number of things that could cause it. Whereas if it's dead quiet in the dead of night and you get something profound, it's like, well, yeah, there was nothing going on. So it makes it easier to catch those things.
I got to ask you another question, Brent, and to you as well, Tex. And we're going to talk a little bit about Tex's experiences just over the past last weekend. But it just brings up a point. We're talking about nighttime and this and that. Is the witching hour of 3 a.m. where supposedly there's a lot of activity? Is that more of a myth, or is that just something that was conjured up over the years at 3 a.m. is like the heightened time when you're out doing an investigation in the paranormal world?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Brent. No, you take this one. Go ahead. I'll comment afterwards.
You know, for the longest time, everybody regarded 12 p.m. as the witching hour.
Yes.
12 a.m. Yeah, a.m., not the afternoon. But I will tell you that as an investigator, that, you know, I'm not incredibly active investigating, but I love getting out there and doing it.
Right.
But I've seen that there does seem to be an uptick consistently around the 3 a.m. hour with catching activity, catching things going on. And there's lots of theories behind that, but who the hell really knows? It could be an energetic thing around the, you know, the cycle of the earth and the biorhythm of the atmosphere and the sun and all kinds of, you know, different cycles that could be affecting what's going on. Maybe it's more energy is available for them to make themselves known. It's hard to know, but again, I don't think it's exclusive at that time, but generally speaking, a lot of investigators find that there is an uptick in activity around the 3 to 4 a.m. hours.
You know, I've actually played with that theory in the field.
Okay.
And in Brown Springs, up in the cemetery, there's a video out there. It's actually called, where I went to the cemetery, it's called Brown Springs Cemetery, The Witching Hour. And I purposely waited until 3 a.m. to go up there. And I don't know, for some reason that Brown Springs area seems to kick off about 9:30 at night and just roll through the freaking night as far as activity goes. But I will say this, about 3 a.m. it gets kind of hinky up there by yourself.
That word just cracks me up every time. Hinky. I'm a northerner. I'm not used to that, but it cracks me up every time.
No, hinky. I tell you what, hinky. No, never heard the word until I talked with Tex. Yeah. Much like the word porthole. And another famous Tex saying is, which I never heard until I met Tex, is he's going to be out of pocket. Yeah, that was new to me. Yeah. When you're like going, you know, not going to be around. Oh, as I'm looking on my monitor, hang on, guys. Our UPS man is here. I have a package that I have to give him. I have to get rid of my old equipment. I'll be right back in a second.
There you go.
We got this, right, Tex?
Oh, absolutely. Let's kick him out of the studio.
Get rid of him.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I use all that kind of, you know, all those saying. I just grew up with them. You know, some of them are so damn country that, like, even people that honestly, people down here in town that have never heard of them.
Oh, really?
You know? Yeah. I asked, my wife was talking about, she talked to somebody that we hadn't talked to in years. And I said, well, what they have to allow?
What did
She's
they
like,
have?
What do they have to allow?
What do they have to allow?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
She's like, what? And I'm like, what do they have to allow? She goes, what the hell are you talking about? What does that even mean? I said, what they had to say? What's been going on?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's different.
So yeah, it's just stuff I grew up with. I mean, my family's from East Texas, so it's about as country as they come. But yeah, it's I don't know. I just grew up saying, it's just
Sure.
it's
Just
part of my dialect, I guess you could say.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's neat. Like when you say we'll do our level best, and it's like, oh, that's cool. I like those kind of figures of speech and stuff. I think they're fun, and it makes listening to you more interesting. Because
I need all the help I can get.
some of the stuff you actually got to think about. What does it mean, level best? We're going to do our best. Okay. Well, I mean, that's kind of a simplistic example, but what do they have to allow? It's like, I've never heard of that. That's so different.
But yeah, that's what that means. It just means, what they have to say, So,
Yeah. Gotcha.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just,
it's kind of neat.
You were talking about what the stuff that you got, and I didn't catch all of it. I was putting my headphones in, with that whole
the cemetery thing.
Yeah, the cemetery thing.
Yeah,
and this recent trip that I went on wasn't to Brown Springs. It was out to Dogman Ranch, and somebody asked me, who and why did y'all give it? Who, why, and when did y'all, or did somebody name it Dogman Ranch? I'm like, well, I named it Dogman Ranch because we got to keep the location secret,
right?
And that's what we're out there investigating. And I got tired of saying the property,
sure.
So it's like, well, we'll give it a name. That way everybody will know where we're going versus Brown Springs, So, yeah. But I'm like, so yeah, that's how we came up with Dogman Ranch. But and a lot of this shit, that's how we just start talking, and somebody will say something. It's like we have a camp out in Brown Springs that we call Fishhead Camp. And there's a reason it got named that. It's because the first time we went out there was like, God, there had to be like 24 fish skeletons out there. Somebody had caught a bunch of fish and cleaned it out there and just left the skeletons out there.
Oh, okay.
So we started calling it Fishhead Camp, but everybody knows, we can say, shoot a text, I'll meet you at Fishhead, and that's where we're going.
Yep.
So, but nobody knows where it's actually at.
Right.
Because, it's tucked back in Brown Springs quite a bit. So,
gotcha.
Is that a different from like the Red River? Is it like going fishing at what was that Fishhead Camp? Like you said, Tex?
No, that whole area is on the Red River.
Okay,
but this is just a certain location because there's different campsites and different locations that we go to in Brown Springs. And it's like we all know, of course, we all know where the cemetery's at. We all know where what we call the first campsite is, and we all know where Fishhead is just by those names. But they're all in Brown Springs, and they're just all part of that wildlife management area. So, but yeah,
I like the fact that you coined that Dogman Ranch because it's catchy, and when you do a show and you're talking about it, at least you have something that people can now kind of imagine, the camp area or the location. Kind of,
it's every bit as weird as Skinwalker Ranch, It's like,
yeah, absolutely,
it's a perfect saying.
And I know you've been there, and I've you did a show or two already on it. We've talked about it a little bit, and I know you've got much more things to uncover, Tex, regarding this ranch, Dogman Ranch. If you'd like, if you can enlighten some of the people, because I know you want to save some material for Monday. What were some of the weirdness? I know there's some weird things you came across, including some very weird audio, which I can't play because I told you earlier I can't pick it up for some reason.
Oh, I got it. I loaded it up.
If you can load it, yeah. But so what was? I guess why don't you walk us through a little bit of it? And
Well, this is our third trip out there, and the first time, I'll walk you through the whole time, all of it, real quick. The first time we went out there, it was me and Ranger. We made the first scout trip out there. We met up with Ulerson, which he pops in the chat every once in a while, and I've had him on the show. But he's the property owner out there, and him and his wife. Now, so the first time we went out there, it was kind of a, I don't know, I think we spent like 4 hours out there just driving around and getting out and walking and looking at different places. Even that time, we had weird stuff happen. We found weird stuff. We went down in the creek, and Ranger found some footprints that were really freaking odd because they were canine, but they had a thumb. And we're still kind of going back and forth whether that's just a one-off critter that has a birth defect or something like that, or if that's actually maybe what we're dealing with, one of the critters that we're dealing with out there. Well, then there's an old house that's about half-assed tore down, and we were up there, and Ulerson and Ranger were up on the front porch, and I had went around to the back of the house on the outside and was scoping out the back side of the house and that type of thing. And one of the doors slammed shut in the house, and they heard footsteps, and they thought it was me. Well, there's a big hive of bees that are in this, that have made a hive inside the wall, one of the walls of this house. I mean, there's probably thousands of bees in this hive, and they thought it was me coming in the back door, and walking through the house. And they actually said to me, "Hey, watch the bees, man. Be careful." I never heard them because I'm out in the back of this place, and I come bebopping around the front porch when they came out. And Lopez his text, "Did you say half-assed?" Yes, I did. And
it's better than whole ass, right?
Right. I'm the whole ass. Everything else half-assed. But when I came bouncing around, bebopping around, and they go, and they at that point they still thought I had went back out of the house and just didn't answer them. And then they told me what is going on. They said, "Did you go back out the back door?" I'm like, "I hadn't been in the house. What are you talking about?" I stepped up on the porch and went inside with y'all when we first got here, but I was in the backyard. Yeah. So we had that happen, and so there was weird stuff right off the get-go that we experienced out there. And
so the footprints of the footfalls inside the home.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And this particular house, now this is actually on a neighboring property, but we have access to it. And the owner of that property had hired these people, these laborers, to go in and tear this house down, right? Well, they went in the house, got spooked, and left and refused to come back.
Oh, wow.
Oh, geez.
So we've yet to go back and investigate that house because we got so much other stuff going on, but that isn't in the plans for the next trip. And there's 2 more houses that are very, very active in paranormal wise that are going to be vacated in the near future, and we're going to have full access to those. So there's a lot more to this investigation than just these critters around this ranch. The second time we went out there, we started hearing around camp. We started hearing, and you got to remember, folks, this is 2,000 acres. So we're quite a ways from these houses, versus the campsite, because we're like our campsite's about 3/4 of the way in this property. So we're sitting around camp and we start hearing what some people will describe it as metal clanging. Some people will describe it as bottle clinking around camp. Now I'm not talking about a long way from camp. This is like, it sounds like it's right behind your tent, and it's not the same location. It goes around camp, changes location. And I think everybody that's been there has heard it at least once.
Wow.
Now this happens, like y'all were talking about nighttime versus daytime. This happens 24/7 there. We've heard it at all times of the day and night. So we got that weird stuff going on. And along that second trip, we also, Pops was there. He saw something standing under a tree, we don't know if it was a critter or if it was a shadow entity, but it was standing next to one of the trucks. And I saw something run. I was up. I guess it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was up by myself, which I do a lot. But I'm sitting at the campfire, and I'm looking towards the entrance to camp, and I see this thing run about, I don't know, it's 4 or 5 feet tall. It ran past a light colored bush. It ran in front of it, actually blocked the bush out. I had plenty of moonlight, and I'm like, what the hell was that? But it was on 2 legs. I'm like, son of a bitch, and we had that's the time when we went down to what we call the homestead, this is a house that stood, as far as we can tell, up until at least 1938. And the foundation is still there. Well, from what we can determine, the entire family died of something like from influenza.
Oh, yeah.
And they're buried under one of the big old oak trees there next to the homestead. So you got the foundation of the house that's still there, and you got the cistern that they used for water that's still there. But what's really cool is you also have their refuse pile that's there that you can dig into and find stuff.
Like or broken plates and stuff, or okay. Wow.
Yeah, they threw their trash and stuff and buried it. They found what I can't remember. I can't remember the button they found. I can't remember if it was like a World War I button or a Civil War button. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was a World War I button or something like that. But from like a doughboy uniform or something. I may be wrong, but hello, Michelle. But we also experienced, now we split up this night. We had several people that was roaming around the homestead, and they were doing a little investigation there. And that's the night that I took off by myself and went walking. There's this one part of the road that comes in. It's just really creepy because the you know how the trees grow over the road and they kind of connect and make a canopy, type thing. Am I froze up?
Nope. You're good.
Okay. And they saw what they described as, and we've got it on film. that film, whatever. But it's an area. I think it's between two trees that was glowing, and it had like a rectangle shape to it, and like swirls in the middle of this.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oof.
Now, Pops and Ullerson, they got a bad vibe off of that. I wasn't there when this happened. It hasn't happened since. It's probably a good thing that I wasn't there, because my dumbass would have walked right to it. You know, that's just how I am.
Go right in.
But while this was going on, I was walking down the road through the, you know, just to see what I could see. And that's where I caught what appears to be a Dogman on camera.
Ooh.
And I mean, and that video is on the channel, and
Texas Reports found on YouTube.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot in this latest trip, man. I got stalked because we went to the highest point of the ranch, and you can see all around us, and the nearest lights are like a mile away. So it's really a cool place to go. But I had him stop. We were driving around with Ullerson, me and my nephew were, and I had him stop, and I played those howls from Pop's property. And we thought we heard something in the brush. Well, I got out of the truck, and I said, y'all take off. Give me about 10, 15 minutes. And let me, you know, I want to go see what happens. And yeah, I think Boondock is right. I think we posted a picture of the spot with a rectangular looking opening. Somebody did. I can't remember. But anyway, so I'm walking, and I start hearing what sounds like footsteps in the trees. So I walk towards this tree line. I walk down the hill and go toward this tree line. And I know people gripe because you need a brighter light, you need night vision, you need this, you need that. Folks, I think it's because I don't use this super bright light or anything, and I'm able to get close to this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Because my light's not as bright, so it doesn't reach as far. And a lot of this stuff tends to stay right on the edge of your light. Okay. So it allows me to get, you know, close that gap a little more. And I start hearing something. I describe it on the video as something like, it sounds like something's eating. But also what it sounded like was like a bear gnashing its teeth in a warning. You know how they'll click their jaws?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it sounded like to me.
That's when you know you're in trouble, when they're clacking their jaws.
Yeah, but we don't have bear there.
Right.
It's too far south. We just don't have them. So I don't know what that was. But whatever it was started tracking me while I was walking, and I was moving towards it too. But
oh boy.
Well, I mean,
well, no,
you're not going to find anything if you run from it. I mean,
I know you, Tex, and we'd all do the same thing. But yes,
I wouldn't.
It's coming toward you. You're going toward it. You know it's not a bear, so right away your senses are heightened to what can this be?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it could be a lot of things. I mean, well, I'll say it could be a lot of things. I don't know anything else that we have down here in that area that would do that. Now, Boondock in the chat says, did it sound like a wild pig gnashing its tusk? I thought about that, but there was no other sounds except that and some footsteps. Normally pigs are a lot louder. you know,
They don't really make
especially if they're moving through brush, you know, and when they're going to they're gnashing their tusk and stuff, you're gonna hear, you know, pig-like sound, you know,
and
grunts and stuff like that.
and not to mention the footsteps are actual bipedal footsteps,
Right.
kind of
Right.
matching up what you heard in the house.
Yeah, because I would hear like a footstep, and then I would hear another footstep, but it would be like 5 yards from the first one,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So you're not hearing, you know, you're not hearing the cadence of a four-legged animal. You're not even hearing the cadence of a two-legged animal, really. You're just hearing every once in a while something, you know, it'll step on something or whatever. But it started moving with me. Well, then I hear another one that was on behind me. So it was like I was being stalked. So I heard that he was driving a diesel truck, so I could hear him coming down the road. I'm like, okay, well, they're headed back, so I'll head back up the hill. I'd walked quite a ways down the hill. And the path I took walked down the hill beside a tree line, went through a tree line, along another tree line, and then up through another one. So I was on my way back up, and I was walking next to a tree line on my left. And this is pretty much right at the end of the video. You can hear this thing, and I don't know what the hell it was, but it hissed at me.
Oh, geez.
And it was like that, you know. And you can hear it on the audio, and you can hear me go, "What? Did y'all hear that?" But, and of course, and that was night 2. And we had heard night 1, we had heard the bottle clinking and that type of thing around camp. And night 3 is when I ran into this crawler thing that I've never seen before. I've never encountered one before. So that was a cool experience because it was the first time I'd ever seen one. And supposedly
A crawler, like a caterpillar.
Yeah, it was a caterpillar. We drove up this pole barn that is given. It's always given Ullison a hinky feeling when he's been there, and they just located it not too long ago from aerial photographs, and it's partially tore down. All the walls are gone, but the wire is still there, and the wire goes from the floor to the ceiling. And it's got a tin roof on it. So we drive up to this thing, we get out, we're walking up, and I'm kind of in front of everybody. And unfortunately, we weren't recording at the time. But you hear me, well, you don't hear me, but it stopped me when I saw this thing. It went up the wall on the outside and on top of the barn and never made a sound. Now, how something physical can climb up a wire wall and on a tin roof and not make a sound, I don't think that's possible.
And could you tell a color, or what did it appear like to you?
It was kind of a charcoal gray, and it looked like Spider-Man going up the wall. That's what it looked like. It was man size. It looked like a man.
Wow. Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
And it was so fast. I mean, it was like it was so fast. And I stopped dead in my tracks and what the F was that? You know?
Yeah, right.
So everybody kind of catches up to me and they're like, what'd you see? What'd you see? And I explained to them, well, that automatically set Ullison on his heels because he's evidently not evidently, he has encountered these things before.
Oh.
And he's going to come on the show and go over that. We're going to do a full show with
owner. This is Dogman Ranch owner.
Yeah. And I don't know how in depth he wants to get into the encounter because it rattles him when he starts talking about it. I mean,
really quickly then throughout his being the owner of the property and residing here for I don't know how many years. I don't know if you mentioned that, but his family's been on this property for about 200 years. So in the history, they've had all sorts of high strangeness, whatever you want to call it, happening throughout the decades.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. And that's what makes this this area is so fast. That's one of the things that makes it so fascinating.
The other interesting thing is that with that much history, they've never been attacked. They've never been hurt. I mean, these things are just sounds like they're just sharing space, right? They're not acting aggressively. So that's
now
cool.
They've been harassed.
Sure.
He's actually shot and hit a dogman.
Oof.
Out there.
Wow.
And he's identified 5 different, from what he can tell, 5 different dogmen out there. Dog people, dog beings, whatever.
Wow.
I don't know what pronoun they identify as, but
I mean, 5 different different shapes and sizes.
Colors. Yeah.
Colors.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fascinating.
And not far from this place, I had gotten a report of a white dog man that had been seen crossing a road before I was even in contact with Ullerson. I had no idea it was going to be in the same area, several miles away. But these things, I think they have a huge territory that they travel. So we think it was probably because there is now he describes it as gray or silver, but in certain lights it could be absolutely seen as white. So we think it was one of the dogmen from this area. We think what I saw the second trip out there run across and block out that bush and everything was probably the juvenile. That's the younger one or smaller one, at least that's out there. So anyway, sitting beside this barn are these, there are these concrete prefabbed steps, okay, that you see in front of a trailer house or something like that, job shack, that type of thing. And I made a joke out of it. I said, I'm going to do what everybody tells you not to do. I'm going to go up stairs that are out in the middle of the woods, right, and go to nothing. So I walk up these stairs. Now, what's important to remember here is I didn't have to make my way through briars or step over anything getting up these stairs. They weren't covered with any vines or anything.
And they were just sitting there, just a staircase leading to what?
Nothing.
Just to nothing.
Yeah. But they had been used there, for a purpose of the barn at some point, I guess, or they had been used somewhere else and they just moved them there. I don't know. But anyway, they were there.
Okay.
And so I walk up these 3 steps, and it allows me, and the reason I did it really is to see if I could get a better look on top of the barn, try to figure out, if I could see this thing that had, jumped, crawled on top of the barn. So I'm on the top step and I'm looking around, I'm looking at the top of the barn, and I turn around and I go to walk back down the stairs, and I physically felt something. I thought it was a briar that had grabbed my pants leg, is what it felt like. It felt like something wrapped around my pants, my leg, my lower leg. And I went airborne from the 3rd step. I was and landed several feet from stairs when I hit. Luckily, the briars broke my fall, but and I hit pretty hard. It hurt. I mean,
yeah, I don't imagine ever hitting the ground at any height is a good thing.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm not, it's like we were talking about, Brent, I'm not a small guy, but my nephew and Ulerson helped me up to my feet. Well, Ulerson's wife had seen when that happened, she saw a hand come around from behind the stairs and grab my pants leg. I don't know how else to describe it but like she said it was like a fog shaped hand or a hand shaped fog.
Human shaped foggy.
Yeah.
Hand?
Yeah. And then right as that happened, Ulerson also saw something like crawl around the side of the barn after that happened. It's like, so Boondock says it was trying to see if it could piss me off. Well, it succeeded. I was mad. And when I got back up, I said, okay. I said, y'all need to leave. You drive off, give me about 10 minutes or so, and let me do my thing. Mm-hmm. And that's the audio that we can play if you want, and somebody might pick something up. I don't know. I really haven't really listened to it, with headphones in and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if there's anything out there, but I'm challenging this thing or whatever it is, So I do drop an F-bomb at the end of it just to let y'all know. But if you want, we can play that.
Yeah, play it.
It's about 6 minutes long, so let's see, where's that? Yeah, here it is. Just so you know, it's in the it's under the background music tab, Rob. It's called Pole Barn.
Okay. It's on mine now?
Yeah, I'll put it on yours. All right, so y'all listen up, and I'll turn it up. Let me turn it up.
All right. And
take it off a loop. All right, so I'll play it, and y'all listen. We'll see if we can pick anything up.
Are you gonna hit the button? You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right. Whatever you are, it's just me and you. I'll tell you what. See what you think of this.
Are you peeing? What was that sound?
Yes, I am peeing.
Okay.
Oh my Lord!
You're marking the turf. Okay, I got you. That's actually a good idea. So anyway, I was like, what am I hearing?
Well, never mind. But yeah, go ahead. Continue.
All right. Oh, okay, continue. If you've been bothering these nice folks, you need to get the hell out of Dodge and leave them alone. I don't know what you are. You didn't stick around long enough for me to get a good look at you. And how you went on top of that tin barn without making any noise, I don't know. But it's me and you for about 10 minutes. They drove off. Nothing, huh? You circle back around behind me. Is that you messing with me back there? You want to go over there? I'll go over there.
What was that sound? What was that sound, Tex? You want to circle back around me? Go ahead. I'll go there. And then I heard like that.
I don't know. I didn't catch it.
It seems kind of anomalous, whatever it is. It didn't sound like your sound.
Okay.
It's something there, whatever timestamp that is. You might want to.
Okay. What you hearing me respond to when I'm talking about, oh, you did you come around behind me? Did you want me to go over there? I heard a tree break across because right next to this pole barn is a gas well pad, you know, and on the other side of the gas well in the tree line is when I heard this tree break.
What kind of tree break? Is it like a snap of a good sized twig, or are we talking like a tree?
It sounded like a good sized branch.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, good sized branch. So I mean, it was a good crack, and I don't know.
Were you able to go back? Were you able to go back and maybe try to find the break? I know there's a lot of trees out there, but
no, we left the next day. But there again, tree breaks are not uncommon to hear out there,
right?
So you can't really put a whole lot of stock in it just because you hear a tree break, but it's something that you need to at least acknowledge if it gets picked up on audio or whatever. We left the next day, so we didn't go back and look. But anyway, I'll continue. All right, let's go see what you got.
You close by a freeway, or is this like in the middle of nowhere?
Those are airplanes.
Okay.
Oh, you want to break some more trees? Holler at me? What do you want to do?
There's like cricket noise. Is that what I'm hearing as well in the background, Tex? Is that crickets, or what's the higher pitch thing?
It may be. It was kind of cold that weekend we were out there.
Okay.
But they may have been coming out. We did see some butterflies out. We did see some moths out, stuff like that. So it's possible.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm assuming that footfall I'm hearing is yours.
Yeah. That's me walking on the gravel around the gas well.
Okay.
I got 10% left of my phone. After that, I can't even holler for help. I'm all yours. Come on, bring it. And don't you think that was an invitation, by the way, because it wasn't. Invitation, get your ass kicked.
Yeah. Bring it on, Tux. You know, everybody for listening, text us fight demons, just so y'all know.
That's what I thought. Fucking coward.
Oh.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it's.
I mean, it is cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So yeah, that's yeah. That's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
Gotta give you credit though. I mean, again, you know, you just had several experiences and sightings, and then you're like, okay, everybody leave me alone. It's like, geez. I'd be like, everybody huddle up, let's go. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's. I don't want these. Whatever these things are, to get the upper hand, or I don't know if that's the right term.
You don't want to show fear, or that's your scared.
Yeah, I guess. Because I think the more fear, if you show them fear, I think, you know, they thrive on it, you know.
I think a lot of them feed on it. They feed on your fears, and they put you in a state where you're more susceptible to maybe getting attachments. Perhaps. Yeah. If it's even paranormal, we're still undetermined whether all these creatures at this property are flesh and blood, paranormal, or what have you. Right now, the creepy crawler thing and the ghostly hand, foggy hand that wrapped around your leg or tugged at on your pant leg going up that ladder, probably paranormal, but we can't explain for the 5 different dogmen that apparently roam this place either, right? We don't know what to make of that as of yet. I mean, that's why you're going to continue to investigate this area, I imagine.
To me, it's also interesting that, you know, whatever this location is, whatever dynamic is going on, it's pretty intense, because oftentimes we often regard these things as very territorial, like, well, this is where the Dogman is, this is where the Bigfoot are, and there's definitely a demilitarized zone between them in a lot of cases. But then you hear these something like this where it's several phenomena interacting in the same geographical area, and I mean, it really does almost lend to the possibility that there is some sort of active portal or some kind of vortex of energy there that they're interacting with.
And then again, folks, I don't suggest you go do this stuff. You know, leave it to the stupid people like me. Yeah.
Yes. Well, to some it might be stupid, but you know, I think with your particular attitude though, Tex, I think it's all about your attitude, not just you, but in general. I think that it takes a stronger constitution when you're investigating something that you're unaware of, right? You just can't. All the things I've learned, if you appear afraid and you're scared and you question what you're doing, whether it's a creature or something paranormal, they pick up on that instinctually, and then they're feeding upon that energy. If you have
Yeah,
weak
because
energy, you follow me.
Yeah, and somebody asked if this was the audio from, me seeing the crawler or whatever it is, and yeah, this is right after I saw that and fell down the stairs and everything. This is the same place in the pole barn where that happened.
So you're already kind of ornery because you took the spill.
Yeah, I was pissed. I was pissed.
Yeah, I don't blame you. How tall were these stairs? Like how many stairs to the top did you?
It was just three. It was just three.
So it was just three.
Yeah.
Stairs. Okay.
So it's about about 3 feet.
Okay.
I fell from about 3 feet. So
yeah, which is enough.
And how far up did the stairs go?
Just 3 feet. It was just three stairs.
Oh,
it was just 3 stairs.
Yep.
Did you mention too that there was Civil War activity around here? This is dated way back where there was perhaps a battle went on in this area, and perhaps spirits out here as well. Maybe.
There were probably more. The history probably didn't involve as much of the Civil War as it did
Mexico.
And well, Indian fights and fights with Indians and
Mexico
and the cattle drive stuff and everything, because it's not too far from the place where I lived in that haunted house, and where that massacre took place. So there's a lot of dark history kind of in this general area. It's only about, as the crow flies, probably an hour or so from, I think I measured it one time and it was like 39 miles or something as the crow flies from where that gentleman was killed and had his throat ripped out that we talk about. So there's a lot of stuff. And of course, my first Dogman sighting when I was 16 took place about an hour in the other direction from this place. So there's a lot of activity in this general area of Texas.
Yeah.
So,
wow. Oof.
And apparently at this location, it's been going on, as we mentioned a couple of times during the show, for decades.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How often does this person that owns this ranch come across these things? Is it a daily thing, a weekly thing, monthly, part of life now? Where he expects something every time he's out roaming about his land?
He texts me every couple of weeks about something that happens. So yeah, it's pretty regular. I mean, sometimes it'll amp up and there'll be like a whole month of stuff going, So, and the cool thing about this last trip, it was a new moon. So we had zero moonlight, and it was the same. This took place over the same night where all those planets aligned.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so it was an interesting combination. Last time we went out there, it was a full moon, and we had all kinds of light. But yeah, this time it was very, very dark, and the planets were aligned. Actually aligned. So it's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting.
That's kind of a cool point. I mean, of course, earlier today we all talked about the witching hour, 3 a.m., 12 a.m., right. And now you bring up how the planets aligned, and we've often talked about the blood red moon. Do you guys once again think that when we have these changes, like in the solar system or wherever you want to go with that, or even they say on All Hallows Eve. I mean, again, a lot of it's folklore, legend, who knows. But do you think that, like with the planets aligning for the first time in I don't know how long, do you think that brings out a lot more otherworldly activity? You think anything to
I,
that?
it wouldn't. It seems to. It
Okay.
seems to when we have these specific astral events, I guess we could
Okay.
call
Mhm.
them. It seems to ramp up the activity for some reason. Now, I don't know if it's just coincidence. 'Cause I don't believe in coincidences, but
Yeah, not anymore. Not
um,
doing this. You really can't. And Brent, you all understand lines with the aligning of the planets every once in a while that more activity is observant, or just something that coincidence, or
I think it's gotta matter. I mean, because even just from a astronomical point of view, there's those kind of alignments have to mean something. And of course, in astronomy and astrology, astronomy, it's a marvel when they all line up. But in an astrologist, have always regarded planetary positions as being important for things. And I don't really know what to make of astrology, but it's surprising if you get a chart done, like a real, not just opening the newspaper and checking out what does it say about my sign? But if you get your chart done, it's scary how dialed in they can be just based on, what was going on when you're born and what continues, how those astronomical bodies continue to influence us. So it seems like there has to be something with it, and I don't see why it wouldn't also interact with the energetic and possible, multidimensional planes that exist around us. So yeah, I think it's powerful stuff.
yeah, it's. I don't see how it can't matter. I mean, the well, if you, I guess if you believe we live on a big blue marble, which I do,
Mhm.
now
and
wait
you
a minute.
believe in gravity and all that kind of thing, I think when
You don't
things
believe
line
in
up
the
like
flat
that,
Earth? You don't believe in flat Earth?
no,
I
and
don't.
hey, if somebody does, that's cool. I mean,
Yeah, no,
Breezy
it's no.
does,
Yeah.
and me and him, it makes for an interesting conversation.
The flat
So
marble brown dwarf,
yeah,
right?
flat marble, yeah.
I particularly subscribe to the planet is round.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I poured water on a globe, it's poured off. So I just can't figure that one out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
There's
I
that.
mean, but
Why
I'm
did
not poking fun at flat earthers. It's a very interesting conversation to have with anybody, just like the dark side of the moon, or is the moon even the moon, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Sorts of things
Well,
you can get into.
I just think about it this way. It's like, well, it really doesn't matter if it's a plate or if it's a a sphere, because at the end of the day, my bills are still due and these
Yeah,
dates.
no,
I still got these same problems no matter if I'm on a plate or a planet, and that's what I really got to worry about, you know.
yeah, no, I don't pretty much worry about that either. I just roll with the flow, and always makes for great conversations and shows. And I love when people have, frankly, differing opinions, because it makes things makes you think. It's not boring,
Mhm.
depending what side of the road you fall with the topics. But this Dogman Ranch, Texas, is something I have a funny feeling you're going to be visiting often. It's going to be on your radar, along with, of course, Brown Springs.
Yeah, I'll probably be making more trips to this place than I will Brown Springs because we have this for a limited. We have access to for a limited time. Brown Springs is always going to be there for the most part, um, and they're doing a lot of construction around Brown Springs on the highway. They're widening the highway, making a new bridge, and all that kind of stuff. So it's and plus this place is a lot closer, but I've yet to do what I really want to do. I haven't been out there by myself yet, which I'm gonna do.
Of course, Tex. That goes without saying.
And if y'all can hear, I've got the vacuum cleaner running in the background. So
I cannot hear it, Tex. It must be one of those electric ones.
I mean, just think
yeah,
about
I don't use a gas powered vacuum cleaner, but
Yeah. Oh, really? I thought I was the only one. Okay.
it. Texas vacuum is by Husqvarna.
Yeah.
No, I think you're very talented though, Tex. That you're here with us in the show and you're also vacuuming. That's pretty amazing.
Yes, and how you
Well,
make that function from your position in your studio office?
well, I mind speak with the vacuum cleaner.
Ah, there you go. Yes,
I'll bet you do.
it's telepathic communications. For everybody that knows, Tex is big into telepathy. I woke him up this morning via telepathy. Text, get up. We have a show in 20 minutes. And boom, he texted me back, got the message.
Absolutely. We are connected on a higher plane, as it were. 5G.
If you guys missed the beginning of the show, check it out. Listen to Tex. He's got some great information on this. He'll be sharing more as he unfolds more information. He's got a lot of audio and maybe some pictures that he'll be showing on Texas Front Porch as the months roll on. And so, yeah, this is pretty cool. And what I'm deriving, though, there's a whole lot of more than one thing involved here. You're looking at some paranormal, supernatural. You're looking at perhaps, as you mentioned, 5 different types of dog people, creatures, werewolves, and some ghostly hauntings, and a lot of history dating back forever. And so I think that it's got a little bit for every investigator or researcher to go check out. You know, it's funny because you did coin it Dogman Ranch. Well, if you talk about Skinwalker Ranch, there's more than is pretty much a lot of what you've talked about. But of course, the only difference, and I was going to ask you, because with Skinwalker Ranch, they also have UFO activity, a lot of anomalous sightings in the skies. So my question to you is, if speaking with this ranch owner, has he seen anything in the air, in the skies, orbs, perhaps UFOs, perhaps anything of that nature?
There has been orbs seen on the property. I have not seen one yet, but I believe they've seen UFO activity. There's been some black unmarked traffic, aerial and ground, around the area. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. I mean, I haven't seen any of it yet. But it's still early into it.
Well, I think most of us believe that all these things kind of parallel each other. They're all kind of connected. And I certainly would not be surprised if in a month you say, hey, Rob, check this out. And it's something up in the sky or an orb that transforms. And all of a sudden there's a Bigfoot lurking. We've all heard those.
Yeah, absolutely. And this place is intriguing. I mean, it really is. And we were how this all started, how it all came about was we were approached by Ullerson at a conference and they were directed to us because of the situation and because of the location. And let's see, Sissy Lawson asked Tex if you went into the Dogman Triangle here in Texas. I actually live in right outside the Dogman Triangle. So
there's a shock.
Yeah. I'm not too sure if Texas is not an entirety of Texas is not a Dogman Triangle, to be honest with you.
It's kind of crazy that that's surprising how many varied geographical areas these dogmen are reported. I mean, it's pretty much a nationwide phenomenon, just like Bigfoot, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, there's definitely. I mean, of course, you got your hot spots or clusters, it seems, but
sure.
I don't know an area. You don't hear much of it. It seems that you don't hear much of it like out of your area or the Pacific Northwest as much.
Yeah, there's some claims up in my area that I've heard through the grapevine, but I don't think it's real common up here. But then again, you need people around to make reports, and there's miles and miles of no people up here, in between these spotty towns that are decorated throughout the the forest and mountains.
Right. Freaky Geek says this is the first time hearing of such a triangle. Actually, if you go watch, there's a documentary that Small Town Monsters put out. It's called the Dogman Triangle, Werewolves of the Lone Star State, and it's free on Tubi if you want to go watch it. You might see a familiar face.
Yes, you might see a familiar face.
Could happen.
Could happen. Yeah.
Unless you're only listening to audio, then you might not recognize anybody.
Right.
Yeah. It was much funnier in my head.
Speaking of small town monsters, I'll be traveling north to Wexford, Michigan.
What's going on there, Rob?
Capital of Dogman. I will have a little part in the Small Town Monsters documentary coming out in fall.
Congratulations.
Thank you for that. I'll keep y'all posted on that. We're going to film part of it April 8th or 9th. I have to head out there and spend the day out in the forest of Wexford, which is, of course, not too far from my Bigfoot encounter. So I'm and I haven't been back in this area since 2018.
Remember,
it's gonna be cool.
Remember all those little people as you're, putting your handprint in your star in Hollywood there, Rob.
You sound like Tex, Brent. No, I'm just good old average BMR, doing my podcast thing, writing my books, appearing on all these great shows.
Well, that's good. That's exciting, though. Good for you. Congratulations.
No, I'm excited about it. True. No joking aside.
Nope.
Yeah, looking forward to getting out there and meeting that crew.
Yeah.
And in fact, with Small Town Monsters, we have Heather Mosier will be a speaker at our conference. So, along with Brent will be a featured guest. That's going to be a great event, everybody. I know we've been promoting it since December, but I tell you what, it's taken off. The ghost hunt sold out. One of the hotels close by is close to capacity. So get your tickets now on Eventbrite. It's going to be, as Tex says in his little extra video that we've been running. It's I tell you what, no joking aside, it might be one of the best events to come out in a long time, featuring UFO, paranormal, and cryptid speakers. And it's a 2-day event. So yeah, everybody, you got to check that out if you're in the area.
There's still tickets left for the meet and greet. There's still vendors tables left, and they decided, since the ghost hunt sold out so quick, they're doing 2 ghost tours on Saturday during the day for the museum, and those tickets are still available. We have a gallery reading after the conference, which is being done by Marilyn Bast with Pair with the Normal, which is one of our sponsors, and also Doug Highcheck is one of our sponsors also.
Doug Highcheck, yes, of Monster Quest. In fact, Doug will be joining me and Krista next Tuesday. He'll be entering the Beyond the BMR Show on the channel.
Awesome.
Pick his brain. That'd be a cool show. And again, I mean, it's a haunted car. Frankie and Dan will be bringing a haunted car. So it's going to whet everybody's appetite, no matter what you follow, whether it's paranormal, UFO, cryptids. There's going to be something for everybody. And we'll all be hanging out there. Our whole crew will be down there, talking with you guys, hanging out, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. There's no doubt about that. I'm looking forward to this one. I've got a conference at the end of the month. I'll be at in September. Me and Monica and Brandy and Krista will be at the Paracon it's actually Church, Texas, but it's right outside of San Antonio.
Church, Texas. That's Church.
Yeah,
sure.
it's
what month is that?
It's this month. It's the 29th. Yeah, actually, and it's put on by the Kling brothers, and this is going to be the last time they do it. They're retiring from the paranormal.
Oh wow!
And yeah, the Kling brothers, you may know them from Ghost Lab.
Yep.
Ghost Lab. Yeah. So if you're in the area, it'd be a great event.
Yeah, no, that would be. I'm sure it'll be a big event, especially if they're announcing their retirement, because all their followers and people that are fans, I guess, if you want to use that word, will be attending it for their last hurrah, as they say. Brent, welcome back to the show. I know you were doing a little personal vacation time down in Tennessee. What you got coming up? You're on today's Thursday. You'll be on tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow night,
Saturday.
It's my first show back. I was going to try to do one last night, but I ended up having difficulties. So I was like, well, I told everybody my first show back would be Friday, but I was going to sneak in a surprise show, but it didn't work out that way. So I'll be going back to my live shows on Friday and Saturday night right here on YouTube, or, any number of other streaming platforms like Rumble, Facebook, X, and Twitch. So if you want to catch my live shows, you can do that. But if you want to catch my podcasts, which are a different show, the live streams are very much a variety show, and Tex comes on with me Saturdays and joins me. But if you want to catch the podcast, those are more interview based, and those are released on all the podcast platforms every Monday. So and it's a different show, but they're both called Paranormal Portal. So just look for Paranormal Portal and you should find me. If you find someone else, let me know, because they got to change their name.
Well, you can also type Bigfoot Michigan Bob.
Yeah.
Anywhere on the internet, and I pull up. I guess it's kind of cool if you, but it goes right to me, which is so weird, Tex, that you found that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try that after the show.
Yeah. And if you are new, please subscribe to Bigfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube, Texas Front Porch, Brent Thomas, the Paranormal Portal, Our Paranormal World with Monica Rollins, the Blinds and Booze Paranormal Podcast. They'll be on tonight at Thursday at 9 in the East. Check them out. Donnie Cho says stuff. Paranormal Paul, PRT, Josh Turner. Check him out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've got an interesting interview. I co-host on Sundays with over on Southern Bell.
Oh, yeah, it's another one. Yeah.
And I'm co-hosting with Selena, and helping her get started and everything. And you were on the show last week with us.
I was. That was a good time.
Show.
She's a sweetheart. I really first time I met the lady, and very nice, down to earth, very much a Bigfoot enthusiast, and she's I liked it. I in fact subscribed to her and checked out a few of her other shows. I think you were on one. Didn't you do your Dogman?
Yeah. We had another one of our special guests that's going to be at the conference. Dale Boswell, country music and country music and Bigfoot was what the show's title.
So now
very interesting, hell of a nice guy, very interesting guy. This Sunday we've got some of you may have seen him in chat. Pat Garrett is going to come on and share him and his family's experiences.
I talk about Pat Garrett from the Wild West. Is it his ghost or the actual?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's the one that shot, William Bonney. So
absolutely, wow. You never know what to expect across the network, as Brent coined our network of shows.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. You guys have created a great family of people working together for, helping each other out and lifting each other up. So I'm just thrilled to be a part of it.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, helping out friends, helping friends, because it's too often people are at odds because they're just too unfortunately competitive, and it kind of puts a damper on things. But our shows are always positive and upbeat. We welcome your stories without judgment or ridicule. Hey, if you got a story, share them. You can send them to my email, Texas email. And if you want to come on the shows, any of the shows, including Brent, shoot us all an email. Love to hear what you have to talk about, because that's what we do. That's what we do. So I appreciate everybody for coming on in. On your way out, please hit the like button. Subscribe to all the mentioned channels across the board. Check out the booze tonight. Brent Friday, Brent Saturday. BMR's on Saturday as well with the girls. Tex sometimes pops in when he's done with Brent. And I got some cool shows lined up for Saturday. And go check out more of the Dogman Ranch, maybe with Tex on Monday, or whatever you've got going on Monday. You have any notable guests, or are you just winging it?
Well, I don't think we have a guest per se, but I know me and Brandy are going to obviously be there.
Okay.
We're going to really take a deep dive into the video that I've got out there, and of course we'll go back over this audio too, because I want her take on it. And of course, y'all are more than welcome to join us if you want.
Absolutely, Tex. Absolutely. And I guess that about covers it. Thanks to everybody for coming on in. Hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe across the board. So for Brent Thomas and, of course, Tex, I'm BMR. And until next time, we are officially out.
This is the future. Evolution.
The Crossing Realms Conference launches September 19th and 20th and will dock in Richmond, Missouri. This is already being called the event of the year, folks, with an unprecedented list of speakers and special guests, 2 days of cryptids, UFOs, and paranormal presentations, along with a celebrity-filled ghost hunt, meet and greet, gallery reading, vendors, and a film screening. This promises to be both educational and fun. Go to eventbrite.com to secure your tickets and vendor slots before they are all abducted. They're going fast.